In the heart of a vast, shadowy forest lay a kingdom cloaked in whispers and secrets. This was a place where the sun seldom broke through the thick canopy of twisted branches overhead, and an almost magical mist hung low over the ground. The vibrant colors of day faded into shades of deep blue and purple, casting everything into an eerie twilight. Here, fantastical creatures lurked in the dark, and stories flowed as freely as the wind that rustled the leaves. The castle loomed at its center, ancient yet grand, built from dark stones that shimmered subtly under the moonlight. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more. And tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. Towers reached towards the clouds, like fingers stretching for stars, and windows glowed with warm light, hinting at life within. It was said that this was the domain of the Vampire King, a powerful ruler who inspired both dread and fascination among the humans who lived nearby. Centuries of folklore surrounded him, tales of terror and romance interwoven throughout generations. Some spoke of his terrible appetite for blood, while others whispered about moments of kindness hidden behind his cold demeanor. Despite their fear, many were drawn to the allure of vampires. Some dared to approach the borders of the forest out of curiosity, hoping to catch a glimpse of their mysterious king. Children shared stories in hushed voices by firesides about encounters with ghostly figures flitting through the trees, fueling their imaginations. Yet no one could truly know what lay beyond the veil of evening mist. Among these curious souls was Lily, a bright-eyed girl with wild curls bouncing around her face as she moved quickly along a dirt path that wound its way deeper into the woods. Though her heart raced with trepidation, a fierce determination drove her onward. She had heard tales of witches and wizards. But more than that, she had grown up listening to stories about the Vampire King, the one who held all power in this strange land. Now, it felt like magic itself was propelling her forward. As she neared the castle, sounds danced in the night air. An orchestra of rustling leaves and distant howls punctuated by soft murmurs that echoed through gnarled trees. The cool night sent shivers down her spine, but Lily steeled herself. Her mother lay sick at home, trapped in a deep slumber from which she could not wake. And Lily believed from every story she had heard that perhaps only the Vampire King held the answers to save her mother. When Lily finally reached the gates of the castle, towering before her like great stone soldiers, she hesitated for just a moment. The creaking doors loomed before her like portals to another world, a world filled with both danger and possibility. She swallowed hard and stepped inside. The entrance hall was adorned with chandeliers that sparkled, like stars caught in spun glass. Shadows flickered across large tapestries, depicting echoes of battles fought long ago. Lily's heart pounded louder as she ventured deeper into this realm, a place neither entirely welcoming nor wholly forbidding. In this kingdom shrouded by darkness and intrigue, where danger lurked just out of sight, but beauty flourished nevertheless, Lily moved forward with purpose. She hoped that somehow she would find strength inside herself to face whatever awaited her. The enigma of an ancient king who ruled over all creatures of night. Little did she know that on this path lay courage waiting to be discovered and bonds that would begin to form amidst fearsome legends. With each step closer to the throne room where legends spoke the Vampire King resided, her resolve strengthened. She had come seeking help for her mother and was ready to confront whatever came next. Lily took a deep breath as she stood before the castle doors, feeling the weight of her mission press upon her small shoulders. She thought of her mother, lying in their humble home, cloaked in shadows and unable to wake. trapped in a deep slumber that frightened Lily more than the tales of the Vampire King. Her heart raced not just from fear, but from hope, a flicker that had barely taken root since her mother fell ill. At just 10 years old, Lily had a spirit that gleamed like the stars above, even when overshadowed by worry. She was known in her village for her wild heart and fierce determination. While other children played games and gathered flowers, she often wandered into the forest, enchanted by its beauty and mystery. The whispers of the trees called to her and spurred her imagination, filling her mind with stories of brave warriors and magical beings. But this time, it was not a tale she sought. It was a plea for help that drove her forward. Lily remembered the bright laughter that used to fill their home, the way her mother's smile could chase away any darkness. But now, each day felt longer than the last, as they watched life slip away from her mother, who seemed to fade with every sunrise. The village healer had tried everything, but nothing worked. It was then that Lily heard that flickering rumor, the one about the Vampire King and his magical powers. "He can help," the villagers would whisper, half scared and half eager to believe it. With sheer determination igniting within her, she decided to find him. As she stepped inside the castle's grand entrance hall, a chill swept over her, causing her to shudder and clutch her cloak closer around her shoulders. The room was vast and spacious, almost dizzying under the flickering light of chandeliers overhead. Shadows danced eerily along the stone walls, creating shapes that seemed to whisper caution as she entered. Each echo of her footsteps reminded her that she was a visitor in a world where rules were different from her own. Despite her growing anxiety, Lily held on tightly to her purpose. She recalled fond memories of her mother telling stories of brave knights who faced dragons and rescued those in need. "You have to be courageous," her mother would say with a smile bright enough to chase away clouds. Inspired by those words, she took another step forward, slowly absorbing the grandeur around her. As she moved deeper into the castle, she spotted detailed tapestries hanging on the walls, each depicting moments from battles long past. Knights, codenamed heroes on gallant steeds clashing against dark forces under a starry sky. The imagery thrilled Lily, but also sent tremors of fear through her body. What if the Vampire King viewed her as a threat instead of a seeker of help? Yet, within that fear resided an unyielding belief. If anyone could save her mother, it had to be him. She imagined asking him for aid. "Sir, my mom said you can help her." The mere thought made her heart race more fiercely than ever. Just then, a soft rustle caught her attention. In that moment, surprise washed over Lily as a small creature with fur as dark as night peeked out from behind one of the tapestries. Its eyes shone like tiny jewels reflecting the candlelight. Fear momentarily seized her heart until curiosity sparked within. The creature tilted its head, sniffing the air inquisitively as if sensing Lily's purpose. Summoning courage once again, she whispered softly to it, "I'm here to find help for my mom." A strange connection seemed to pulse between them in that quiet corridor, and Lily felt empowered by this unexpected ally in such an unknown place. Emboldened by this encounter, as well as the urgency of her mission, Lily gathered herself and continued deeper into the castle. She may have entered fearful and unsure, but with each step towards the throne room where the Vampire King resided, she began to feel more resolute in her quest. Unwavering faith shone in her eyes. She was determined to face whatever challenge arose so that she could bring back hope to her home once again. With each step deeper into the shadowy forest, Lily felt both excitement and dread swirl within her. The trees loomed high above, their thick branches twisting and intertwining, creating a canopy that blocked out almost all the moonlight. This darkness, however, was not unfamiliar to her. She had always found comfort in the whispers of the woods. But tonight was different. Tonight she was venturing into the heart of fear itself. As she walked along the narrow, winding path, the sounds of the forest surrounded her. Leaves rustled in the cold breeze like soft whispers calling out warnings she struggled to ignore. Every now and then, an eerie hoot of an owl or a distant howl sent shivers down her spine. Yet Lily pressed on. She imagined the warm embrace of her mother's smile with each shuddering breath, letting it fuel her determination. The stories she heard as a child echoed in her mind. The tales of brave knights battling fierce creatures that thrived in the dark, protecting their loved ones from harm. Clenching her fists tightly, she vowed she would be just as brave as those heroes from the stories. "I can do this," she whispered to herself, though the shadows around her seemed to mock her courage with their lurking forms. Suddenly, from behind a thicket of bushes, Lily caught sight of something shimmering. A pair of luminous eyes watching her closely. They glowed like two tiny lanterns piercing through the blackness. Panic bubbled up in her chest as she instinctively stepped back, but stopped herself short. Not too long ago, she had met that small creature in the castle. Maybe this was another ally waiting to help her. Summoning her bravery, she took a step closer. "Who are you?" she called softly, hoping to sound braver than she felt. The creature emerged slowly, a slender fox with fur as white as snow, its ethereal appearance startling against the backdrop of shadow. It tilted its head, studying her curiously as if assessing whether she posed any threat. It took a cautious step forward, then another, finally brushing against her leg with a gentle nudge. "Do you want to help me?" Lily asked tentatively, bending down to meet the fox's captivating gaze. In that moment, she felt an unwavering connection, an understanding that transcended words. Without waiting for an answer, Lily stood tall once more and continued along the path. And the fox decided to walk beside her. With each passing moment, she could sense that their bond gave her more strength. It felt like magic coursing through her veins. Forest creatures started to become bolder in their curiosity, peering out from behind trees and calling out softly as if inviting her deeper into their realm. But not everything was friendly in this enchanted forest. Shadows lurked where light dared not shine. As they journeyed together, Lily encountered other beings, twisted forms drifting between tree trunks that giggled mischievously. Little wisps of fog danced before her eyes, like spirits taunting her fears. "Don't listen to them," whispered the fox briskly, its voice a low but reassuring sound amidst the sinister giggles. "They are nothing but tricks meant to frighten." Determined not to allow fear to take hold again, Lily nodded resolutely. "I'm on a mission," she stated firmly, recalling with urgency the gravity of why she was here. The fox encouraged Lily onward as they navigated past patches of glowing mushrooms that emitted an otherworldly light illuminating their path. She began to appreciate the beauty around her. The way fireflies soared gracefully through the air, and how haunting yet mesmerizing melodies seeped from hidden corners of the forest. Finally, after what felt like hours filled with daunting challenges and enchanting moments alike, they approached a clearing bathed in silver moonlight, where towering stones formed an archway leading toward the entrance of the Vampire King's castle, a place glowing just beyond reach. Lily paused at the threshold of the clearing, heart pounding fiercely with anticipation and fear all at once. She had made it through the shadows, with help by her side. It reminded her that even amongst darkness, courage and companionship could illuminate any path ahead. With resolve etched firmly upon her face and hope lighting her spirit anew. Lily took a forward step into that bright, glimmering world, waiting for her on the other side, ready for whatever awaited beyond those towering stones. With a deep breath that steadied her racing heart, Lily stepped through the archway of towering stones and into the grand hall of the Vampire King's castle. The air was cool and filled with an otherworldly stillness that made every heartbeat seem impossibly loud. She glanced around, taking in the magnificent yet intimidating decor, a mix of elegance and darkness enveloping her like a shroud. The walls were adorned with intricate carvings of ancient battles and mythical creatures, illuminated by the flickering light from enormous candles sitting in ornate holders. Shadows danced across the stone floor, creating shapes that seemed to come alive in the dim light. At the far end of the hall stood a grand throne, its presence commanding yet cloaked in mystery. As she approached slowly, her eyes were drawn to a figure seated upon it. The Vampire King was tall and regal, his long, flowing cape sweeping behind him like a cascade of night itself. His pale skin glistened under the candlelight, contrasting sharply with his dark hair that framed his angular face. But it was his eyes, piercing like daggers, that captivated her attention most. They shimmered with an intensity she had never seen before, holding within them centuries of knowledge and power. Lily's breath caught in her throat as awe blended with fear. This was not just a man, but a legend brought to life, an embodiment of every story her mother had told her about vampires being fierce, but sometimes misunderstood. What if he sees me as nothing more than just a trembling child? She thought nervously, recalling all those tales where brave heroes faced daunting foes without flinching. But deep down, beneath layers of apprehension, was an unyielding resolve fueled by love for her mother, her driving force amid uncertainty. Clenching her fists tighter to quell the butterflies in her stomach, she took another step forward with purpose, despite the fear threading through her. I must do this, she reminded herself quietly. Each echoing footstep seemed louder than ever as she finally reached the base of the throne. The king watched her intently. An unsettling silence hung between them momentarily, before he broke it with a voice that resonated like thunder, yet held an oddly comforting tone. Why have you come here, little girl? He asked, his gaze penetrating yet strangely curious. Gathering every ounce of courage within her, Lily lifted her chin defiantly and spoke up. Sir, my mom said you can help her. The words rushed out before she could lose her nerve again. For a moment longer, he studied her closely, as if weighing her resolve against some invisible scale. Lily could feel his scrutiny pierce through layers of doubt lodged in her heart. Those eternal eyes seemed capable of seeing straight into her very soul. Faced with such intensity from someone so powerful sent shivers down her spine, yet there was also something soothing about it, a kindness hidden behind the facade. What ailment has beset your mother? His question came softly now, devoid of any menace but rich with interest instead. Grateful for this opportunity to speak more freely about her plight, Lily swallowed hard and shared everything. The sleepless nights spent by her mother's side, how their home felt empty without laughter echoing through its halls, while each sunrise brought only despair closer for them both. I believe you have magic, she added hesitantly, recalling the whispered rumors heard around town. If anyone can help me save my mother, it's you. At this admission, hesitation flickered briefly across his face, as if remembering long-forgotten moments connecting him back to humanity against all odds, and then returned once more into stoic resolve. I have great power, he replied at last, after what felt like an eternity hung suspended between them. But magic comes at a price. Lily's heart raced again at this revelation. What would he ask for? But even amid fear swelling inside like waves crashing against rocks on a stormy shore, hope illuminated each thought she possessed. She would face whatever challenges lay ahead for the chance to bring back life into their home once more. Determined gazes fixed upon one another across distance, cloaked in shadows untold. Within that vast hall filled with daunting echoes from history long past arose new possibilities waiting just beyond reach. The promise that perhaps, even amidst darkness, there could still be light found somewhere deep within their intertwined fates. Lily's heart raced as she stood before the Vampire King, the weight of her words pressing on her chest like a heavy stone. She had thought long and hard about how to articulate her mother's plight. But now faced with the reality of the moment, her mind whirled like a storm. She could see him, cloaked in darkness, an echo of power that commanded respect and instilled fear. This was the being who held the potential to change everything for her family. "Sir," she began, her voice shaking slightly as she gathered her thoughts. "You must understand. My mother is very ill." The Vampire King regarded her with those sharp, all-knowing eyes, silent yet attentive. He leaned forward imperceptibly, encouraging her to continue. Taking another deep breath, Lily forged ahead. "She has been sleeping for days and can't wake up. The healer tried everything he knew. Candles were lit and potions brewed, but nothing seemed to work." As she spoke, images of her mother flooded Lily's mind, the warm glow of their home filled with laughter, the way her mother would tuck her in at night while recounting stories of adventure. That comfort had vanished into despair in recent days. "I can't bear to see her like this," Lily pressed on, feeling pain claw at her heart. "The villagers say you have magic, that you can do things others cannot. I believe you might be able to help her." The desperation in her voice seemed to hang in the air between them, like a fragile thread. The Vampire King's expression remained inscrutable, but there was a flicker of something. Curiosity, or perhaps empathy. It encouraged Lily to delve deeper. She stepped closer and clenched her hands into fists at her sides. "Every day, I worry that she won't wake up again," she confessed, tears welling in her eyes as memories of laughter turned to echoes of silence filled the gaps where joy once thrived. "I need your help not just for her, but for everyone who loves her. For me." Her voice trembled with emotion. This was not just about magic or power, but about love and loss. Lily could almost see the shadows lengthening around them as she spoke. It felt as if time froze within the grand hall, a moment suspended between hope and despair. "I will do anything you require." She continued bravely, channeling each learned lesson of bravery from childhood tales about warriors who faced great challenges, daunting even for the strongest souls. To this statement, the Vampire King remained silent for a moment longer, as though measuring what lay within her heart. This child who dared venture into shadows, seeking salvation for someone she loved more than anything else in the world. "Your bond with your mother is powerful," he finally replied, his voice softening slightly like velvet contrasting against stone. "But understand that magic can demand a price." Lily's heart sank at this notion. There it was, the catch. All magic came at some cost, which could be too steep for someone so young and untested. Yet within herself stirred resolve. She wanted to know what it would take for hope to re-enter their lives. Whatever it is, she said firmly, despite tremors coursing through her body. I will pay it if it means my mother can wake again. At this declaration, something flickered in his piercing gaze. Was it admiration? Or perhaps recognition? A soft smile tugged at the corners of his lips before fading into stoicism once more. Very well, he answered, after a thoughtful pause that echoed in rhythm with Lily's hopeful heart. Tell me more about what your mother means to you. About love and sacrifice. With renewed courage pouring forth from within, as if summoned by an ancient call, Lily opened up further. She began recounting fond shared moments, weaving warmth back into each word spoken. Reliving, laughter amidst lingering sorrow joined their fates into a tapestry worthy enough to mend broken dreams. Unwavering connection, forged through shared emotion, filled the hall. Old worlds collided with new possibilities, blossoming as one brave girl dared seek help within darkness anew. A friendship growing among complexity. In that vast space, amidst candlelight, memories intermingling hope soared ever high beneath shadows present, but never again unseen nor defeated. It was merely waiting now for the chance to step back into light once more. The air in the grand hall grew heavy with expectation as the Vampire King regarded Lily, his curiosity piqued by her unwavering courage and heartfelt words. He had seen many visitors come and go over the centuries, but few had ever dared to lay bare their emotions so freely before him. Most trembled at his presence, their motives twisted by fear or selfishness. Yet here stood Lily, a mere child, pleading for a life that meant everything to her. Your bravery is remarkable, he finally said, his voice carrying a mix of admiration and surprise. It takes great strength to confront the shadows of one's heart and seek help for another. As he spoke, something shifted within him. The echoes of his own long-buried emotions stirred to life. Lily looked up at him, hope flickering in her eyes like a candle fighting against the wind. Do you really understand? She asked softly, searching for any sign that he could relate to her plight. I do, the Vampire King replied, his tone growing somber as memories of his own past flooded back to him. I have walked a lonely path for centuries. The world outside has always shunned me, fearing what they do not understand. I once loved deeply, much like you love your mother, but I lost them all. He paused, allowing the weight of his words to sink in. The shadows around him seemed to shift as his heart revealed its scars. The pain that lingered long after those he cared for were gone. In this moment of vulnerability, he revealed traces of a once vibrant existence that had been masked by darkness. I was known as Adrian before my transformation, he shared, his gaze drifting as if peering into a different time. I had a family, a wife and child who brought light into my life. But when I was cursed to live as a vampire, I lost them forever, trapped in this abyss of solitude. His voice carried an echoing loneliness that resonated with Lily's own fear of losing her mother. Moved by his story, Lily stepped closer to the throne. But there must still be love inside you, she said gently, her voice trembling with compassion. You helped me see that. You have power. You can help my mother awaken from her slumber. Please don't let loneliness keep you from doing something good. The Vampire King's piercing gaze softened as he studied Lily's earnest expression, her unwavering spirit igniting something long forgotten within him. It was as if her bright hope illuminated even the darkest corners of his heart. For the first time in centuries, he felt his own chains of despair begin to loosen. You remind me of who I once was, he confessed quietly. Your connection with your mother speaks volumes. It is proof that love knows no bounds, even in despair. He leaned forward slightly, studying her with newfound attention. But tell me, what will you sacrifice for this love? Magic demands something precious. Lily's heart fluttered at his words. Her determination solidified as she nodded resolutely. I will sacrifice anything you ask, she insisted firmly. Even my own happiness, if it means saving her. Every word poured from the depths of her soul as she reflected on the laughter that no longer filled their home and the aching silence that replaced it. For a moment, there was silence between them again. A deep understanding shared through unspoken connections forged by pain and hope alike. With each heartbeat echoing through the hall, a bond began to form between the ancient king and the brave girl standing before him. A shared experience that reached across generations. Finally breaking into a small smile tinged with sadness, Adrian spoke again. Then let us weave magic from your love, a spell strong enough to awaken your mother without too steep a price. The air began to shimmer around them as possibilities bloomed like flowers awakening to sunlight. Together, we shall craft something beautiful from this darkness. Not just for your mother, but perhaps for both our hearts. He declared quietly, accepting an unexpected sense of purpose into his own lonely existence once more. A chance at redemption waiting just within reach amidst shadows told long ago. In that vast hall filled with whispers from forgotten times and shadows battling against light anew, they embarked on an intricate journey towards healing. Two unlikely allies, connected through mutual longing, finding strength together amidst struggles yet untold. As the shimmering air around them settled into a quiet calm, the Vampire King leaned closer, his eyes reflecting a mix of seriousness and intrigue. To weave the magic you seek, you must first prove your strength and resolve, he said, his voice resonating with authority. There is a rare flower that blooms in a treacherous part of the forest, known as the moonlit blossom. It holds potent magic, capable of awakening your mother from her deep slumber. Lily's heart raced at the thought of a challenge. But she understood that nothing worthwhile came without effort. Where can I find this flower? She asked, determination edging her voice. The moonlit blossom grows in the Vale of Shadows, he replied, gesturing toward a darkened corner of the hall where shadows seemed to pool like ink. It blooms once at midnight, under the light of the full moon, surrounded by creatures that guard it fiercely. Many have tried to reach it. Few have returned. A shiver ran down Lily's spine at the mention of danger. But remembering her mother's face, the warmth of her smile, and the love that had always been there, she felt an unwavering resolve settle within her. I will go, she declared boldly, her voice steady despite her fluttering heart. The Vampire King nodded slowly, intrigued by her fierce spirit. You must be cautious. The forest is filled with illusions and creatures that would lead you astray. Trust in your instincts and remember why you're doing this. With newfound purpose, Lily turned to leave, but paused as a thought occurred to her. Will I have help? She asked, glancing back at the king. At that moment, the white fox emerged from the shadows, its fur glowing softly in the dim light. It trotted up beside Lily and looked up at her with its bright eyes. You will not face this journey alone, the Vampire King assured her with a hint of a smile. This creature will guide you and provide assistance along the way. Feeling a wave of relief wash over her, Lily knelt down to pet the fox gently. Thank you, she whispered gratefully. feeling an instant connection strengthen between them. The Vampire King continued, his tone now serious again. Be aware that this quest will test your grit and resolve. Should you encounter obstacles along your path, do not shy away from confronting them. Each challenge will reveal new strength within yourself. With those words resonating in her heart, Lily set off on her journey through the grand castle doors once more, and into the shadowy forest surrounding it. The moon illuminated her path as she ventured deeper into its embrace, each step accompanied by a symphony of rustling leaves and distant howls. The white fox trotted alongside her, glancing back occasionally to ensure she was keeping pace. As they moved forward together into the unknown, Lily felt both excitement and trepidation swirl within her like a tempest. She was about to embark on an adventure filled with uncertainty, yet fueled by love. Soon they approached the edge of an ancient thicket where gnarled trees twisted and snarled against one another like sentinels guarding secrets long forgotten. The air grew thick with mystery as shadows danced around them. "Stay close," whispered the fox as it navigated through narrow paths between thick roots. They ventured further into the woods until they arrived at a clearing bathed in silvery moonlight, their destination now just ahead. Suddenly, from behind dense vegetation emerged towering figures, shadowy beasts with glowing eyes watching Lily intently as if sizing up their next prey. Fear gripped her heart for a moment, while instinct shouted for her to turn back. But then she remembered why she was here. The image of her mother's fading smile ignited a spark within her soul. Taking a deep breath to calm herself, she stepped forward defiantly, determined not to let anything stand in her way. "Leave us be," she called out boldly, while gripping tightly onto hope as if it were a shield shielding against their advancing forms. The creatures halted for just an instant before slinking back into the darkness from which they came, disappearing like smoke in night air, and in their retreat revealed a single radiant flower, blooming at the center of the clearing, the moonlit blossom. Lily stood still for what felt like eternity, her heart pounding fiercely at this moment etched forever into memory, watching as luminescent petals seemed to glow brighter beneath moonlight, while whispering promises of hope now resting firmly within reach. With a determined stride forward alongside her faithful companion, beside her once more ready for whatever came next. A challenge faced together transformed into an unexpected victory, waiting patiently amidst shadows cast long ago. With the moonlit blossom now within her reach, Lily embarked on a daunting journey into the depths of the Vale of Shadows. The air grew cooler, and the light from the moon was obscured by twisting branches that tangled above her head like a web of dark secrets. Each step she took was filled with both trepidation and determination, knowing her mother's life depended on her success. Her white fox companion trotted closely beside her, its bright eyes scanning the surroundings for any dangers that might lurk in the dark. "Stay alert," it whispered softly, sensing the tension in the air. "The forest is filled with tricky creatures and magical traps designed to mislead you." Lily nodded, taking a deep breath to steady her nerves. As they pressed further into the forest, they soon entered an area where the trees twisted even more grotesquely, their gnarled roots rising up from the ground like slithering serpents. It was then that she heard a rustle behind them, a sound that sent shivers down her spine. Suddenly, a small creature emerged from the shadows, its wide eyes glinting mischievously. It was a goblin-like being with a pointed nose and a toothy grin. "What brings you to my part of the woods, little girl?" It cackled, bouncing playfully on its feet. "You'll not pass through here without solving my riddle." Lily steeled herself. This was one of the obstacles the Vampire King had warned her about. "What's your riddle?" she asked, trying to sound confident. The goblin clapped its hands gleefully. "Listen closely," it sang. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Lily thought hard, recalling tales of riddles from her childhood. The answers sprang to her mind as if ignited by a spark of inspiration. "A joke!" she exclaimed. The goblin's eyes widened in surprise, but then he burst into laughter. "Correct. You're clever for such a young one." He stepped aside, waving his hand in playful defeat. "You may pass. But beware, more challenges await." As she continued deeper into the forest, Lily felt a surge of confidence. She had solved the riddle and moved past one obstacle. Yet she knew there would be more tests to come. The atmosphere around her changed abruptly as she approached a mist-covered clearing where swirling fog cloaked the ground. "Be careful," whispered the fox as they entered. "This mist can confuse you." Lily squinted ahead. Shapes began to form before her eyes, figures that looked like lost souls wandering aimlessly in the fog. For a brief moment, fear gripped her heart as she thought of losing herself among them. Instinctively, she called upon memories of her mother's love, reminding her of her purpose. "Stay focused," she urged herself aloud as she pressed forward, trusting in her determination to find her way through this disorienting maze. In moments that felt like hours, she clung tightly to the fox beside her until finally they emerged from the mist unharmed. They were met by a moss-covered boulder emblazoned with ancient symbols glowing faintly in a spectrum of colors. "Another test awaits," the fox said nervously. "This stone may hold a clue or trick you into despair." Lily approached cautiously, tracing her fingers over the symbols. Suddenly, dark tendrils erupted from the stone, writhing toward her like grasping hands. Instinctively, she stepped back, but allowed resolve to fill her heart once more. She would not let fear diminish her strength. Gathering her courage, she spoke boldly into the night air. "I know why I'm here. I seek the moonlit blossom to save my mother." Her voice rang clear among shadows that attempted to creep into her thoughts. To her surprise, the tendrils halted midair and receded back into the stone before it transformed. Each symbol began spinning rapidly until they formed a path illuminated by soft blue light leading beyond the boulder. "Follow that path," instructed the fox as they hurried along. The glowing trail guided them closer to their goal. Finally, they reached another clearing bathed in silvery moonlight, the sacred space where the moonlit blossom was said to bloom. Yet, as Lily gazed ahead in wonder, she saw a fierce guardian standing protectively over the flower, a towering creature made of shadow, with blazing eyes that burned like embers. Lily's heart pounded again. This was no ordinary creature, but a formidable beast unlike anything she'd faced before. Drawing upon all her courage and love for her mother, she straightened up and prepared for what lay ahead. "Together," Lily murmured to the fox beside her as they stepped forward into this final challenge. Ready for whatever came next in their quest toward hope, intertwined with an unwavering bond. As Lily and her loyal white fox companion approached the clearing with the moonlit blossom, uncertainty loomed overhead like a thundercloud. The fierce shadow guardian was not the only challenge before them. There was a feeling in the air, an unsettling energy that spoke of wicked traps and hidden dangers. However, just as apprehension began to creep into Lily's heart, she noticed movement near the base of an ancient tree sprawling with emerald moss. Daring to step closer, she discovered a tiny creature peering out from behind a twisted root. It was no taller than her hand, with bright teal fur, large floppy ears, and wide eyes filled with curiosity. "Hello there," said the creature timidly, its voice high-pitched yet warm. "I didn't think I'd see anyone brave enough to face the Guardian. What brings you to this part of the forest?" Lily knelt down cautiously, enchanted by this unexpected ally. "I'm looking for the moonlit blossom," she explained earnestly. "My mother is sick and needs it to wake up." The little creature's eyes widened in sympathy as it twitched its small nose. "Oh dear, the Guardian is fierce indeed. You'll need help if you want to get past him," it said, its voice trembling slightly at the thought. Feeling a flicker of hope spark within her, Lily replied, "Would you help me? I would be so grateful." The creature hesitated for a moment, pondering something deeply. "If you show kindness first by sharing a bit of your food or warmth," it suggested after a pause, "I will guide you safely through these woods and even assist you with the Guardian." Thinking quickly, Lily rummaged through her knapsack and produced a small piece of bread she had saved for her journey. "Here, please take this," she offered warmly. The tiny creature took the bread with both hands and beamed up at her like sunshine breaking through clouds. "Thank you. You are very kind." As it nibbled on the offering gratefully, Lily felt her heart swell with connection. This little being understood sacrifice in its purest form. With renewed camaraderie established between them, the creature introduced itself as Pip. In return for Lily's kindness, it was eager to offer guidance through the treacherous terrain ahead. "Follow me closely," Pip instructed as they ventured back toward where the fierce Guardian stood watch over the moonlit blossom's protective space. A daunting task now perceived together rather than alone. As they approached again, Pip whispered words of encouragement while sharing helpful knowledge about their foe. "The Shadow Guardian can only be distracted by light, if we create enough noise or cause some commotion nearby." Lily nodded determinedly. She could make noise. Clenching her fists tightly around any fear left inside her heart, while holding on to newfound courage stirred that ignited within during previous challenges faced already. With that plan in mind, Pip skittered ahead into bushes, while stealing glances back at Lily, who remained anchored on bravery despite impending danger lying before them. Then Pip put forth an idea. "Make some sound to draw him away. Perhaps clap your hands or sing." Closing her eyes for an instant to summon strength within herself once more, she suddenly started singing softly at first, but grew louder as melody moved through breath filled with hope. A song about love and light that transcended shadows lurking close by. As notes floated through air like sweet relief and harmonies danced around them. Indeed, their effects turned instantaneous. Shocked by such sudden vibrancy filling nature surrounding them, the shadow beast turned abruptly towards their direction, filled with annoyance from being distracted from its duty. It stepped away from its post near the moonlit blossom, unwillingly drawn towards this unexpected sound. Just as Pip had suggested, taking advantage of that opening provided which summoned fleeting courage bursting forth. A determined surge propelled Lily into forward motion when all felt balanced amid chaos swirling around them. Stepping quickly alongside Pip, who held on to trust forged in kindness shared. Not far now. The blossoms beckoned sweetly below moonlight, glowing brighter, illuminating their path, prompting new beginnings not yet fully realized, blowing gently toward freedom reclaimed. Finally reaching their goal, the stunning moonlit blossom swayed gracefully amidst vivid petals, reflecting silver light, dancing on calm breezes, welcoming all drawn nearer toward hope restored. All made possible by friendships kindled along this journey, faced together. With the Shadow Guardian finally distracted by her song, Lily seized the moment and rushed forward alongside Pip. The moonlight bathed the clearing in a silvery glow, highlighting the enchanting presence of the moonlit blossom swaying gently on its stem amid the lush greenery. It stood there, vibrant and radiant, with petals that shimmered like stars scattered across a midnight sky. Lily's heart raced as she stepped closer, each beat echoing with excitement and exhilaration. Here was the flower that held the magic to save her mother, a tangible symbol of hope after so many trials. She could hardly believe she had made it this far. Recalling her journey through obstacles, solving riddles and navigating through disorienting mists, Lily felt a swell of pride for the bravery she had discovered within herself. "I did it. We did it!" she exclaimed joyfully, turning to Pip, who grinned back at her, eyes sparkling with encouragement and admiration. "I can't believe we're here." But as Lily knelt beside the dazzling blossom, a sense of caution washed over her. Although this flower was beautiful and glowed with promise, she remembered the Vampire King's warning. Magic comes at a price. Glancing at Pip, who silently encouraged her with a nod, she knew it was time to act. Gently, with trembling fingers, Lily reached for the moonlit blossom. The petals felt cool against her skin as she grasped it delicately. She could feel an energy pulsating from it, alive and powerful, yet gentle enough that her touch didn't disturb its grace. Raising it toward her face, Lily breathed in its floral aroma that seemed to clear her mind while filling her heart with warmth. "I'm here for you, Mom," she whispered softly into the night air, feeling tears prick at her eyes. "This is for you." Suddenly, a deep growl rumbled from behind them as the Guardian re-emerged from the shadows, its blazing eyes now locked onto Lily with fierce intensity. The spell of silence cast by her song had worn off too soon. In its place emerged trepidation once more. Without hesitation, Pip leaped forward before Lily could even react. "We have to distract him again, quickly," he urged. Thinking on her feet, Lily clutched the moonlit blossom tightly and focused on finding strength once more, drawing from memories filled with laughter and love. The whispers of encouragement shared between her and her mother flooded back into focus. "Let's go," she shouted determinedly to Pip as they both darted towards the edge of the clearing where shadows danced ominously. "Over here," she called out, waving her arms wildly as they retreated further back into brambles, away from where they had stood moments ago. As expected, fury radiated from the Guardian as it lunged toward them, seeking to defend what it believed was rightfully its own. The magical flower now illuminated by their combined light-filled presence, a beacon of hope amidst creeping darkness. "Right, now sing again," Pip called out urgently. This time Lily sang louder than before, her voice rising above fear and uncertainty as notes soared through treetops sparkling under moonlight, like fireworks exploding in brilliance across dark skies. The Shadow Guardian halted again, mid-stride, caught off guard by this unexpected turn, staggering backward while clutching its spectral ears in frustration. For a brief moment of hesitation lingered between them, then suddenly weakened by enchantment flowing around them, imbued focus with bravery, stoked aflame. With that opening restored, they seized their chance. Without looking back or fearing what lay behind them, filled with danger anymore, they raced towards freedom, beyond treacherous woods, holding close onto fragile hope entwined within their fates, kindred forged throughout shared struggles, faced together, unbroken by shadows, grown long past attempted control over theirs. Bursting forth into open space once more, where moonlight caressed each verdant blade, weaving warmth around hearts still racing between breaths, squeezed tightly, bound by fate. Lily had finally triumphed against looming adversity. A mere child transformed into something bright, capable enough to face darkness, while reaching for light anew, radiating forth within every step, taken toward fulfilling promises made long ago, left untreated but never forgotten. The bonds built upon kindness, crafted bridges stronger than steel, forging friendships, destined throughout journey's path, untraveled waiting patiently ahead, toward brighter tomorrows reclaimed together forevermore. With the year's moonlit blossom secured tightly in her grasp, Lily felt an overwhelming sense of triumph wash over her as she made her way back through the forest. The journey had tested her courage and resolve in ways she never imagined possible. Now, with the flower in hand, she could finally bring hope back to her mother. The moon hung high above, casting its silvery light down upon her path, illuminating the way home. Pip scampered alongside her, his tiny paws barely making a sound on the soft earth. "You did it, Lily. You truly did it," he exclaimed, his voice bubbling with excitement. "I knew you could face the Guardian. You're incredibly brave." Lily smiled at her small friend, feeling gratitude swell within her. "I couldn't have done it without your help," she admitted. "Thank you for believing in me." This bond they formed through their shared adventure had become a source of strength for Lily, reminding her of the importance of friendship and kindness. As they reached the edge of the forest, the imposing silhouette of the Vampire King's castle rose before them once more. It felt both familiar and strange after everything they had just endured. The once intimidating structure now seemed like a beacon of hope, calling them forward. Entering the castle, Lily felt a flutter of nerves as she approached the grand hall again. The air was thick with anticipation. She could almost sense the energy shifting as she drew closer to where the Vampire King awaited, his presence both regal and commanding. When he spotted her, his eyes widened slightly, a flicker of surprise crossing his face as he noticed the moonlit blossom held triumphantly in her hands. "You returned," he said, his voice laced with curiosity and admiration. "And you have found it. A rare feat indeed." "I did. I faced the Shadow Guardian, and with Pip's help, I was able to retrieve the flower," she replied, pride swelling in her chest. As she spoke, she could see genuine admiration reflected in the king's gaze. "Your determination is remarkable, young one," he said as he stepped closer. "Not many would have faced such trials with the heart you have shown." Lily felt warmth spread through her at his words, knowing that all her fears and doubts had been worth it. In her quest to save her mother, she'd grown stronger than she ever thought possible. The journey had transformed her from a scared girl into someone capable of taking on challenges head on. "I remembered what you said about love and sacrifice," she told him earnestly. "That gave me strength when I felt afraid." The Vampire King nodded thoughtfully, a ghost of a smile appearing on his lips. "Love has a way of illuminating even the darkest paths," he mused. "You have proven that true bravery lies not in the absence of fear, but in facing it despite your doubts." With those words hanging in the air between them, Lily felt a deep connection grow with the king, shared understanding forged through their experiences of love and loss. This bond was stronger now, solidified by her journey to find hope amidst shadows. "Now," he continued, his voice steadying into a tone filled with purpose, "let us harness the magic of this blossom to awaken your mother. Together, we will weave a spell that channels your love into healing." As he prepared to use his ancient knowledge and power alongside the flower's magic, Lily held it tightly against her chest. She closed her eyes, envisioning her mother surrounded by warmth and laughter once more. a place where shadows had no hold. The Vampire King moved gracefully, gathering energy from the forces around them while invoking incantations that mingled with Lily's hopes and dreams. The room began to shimmer with ethereal light as magic pulsated through the air, the essence of love merging seamlessly with ancient power. In that moment of unity, between the girl who had faced adversity and the powerful being who had once lost everything, something beautiful was born. A promise renewed. A life waiting to be reclaimed from darkness. When Lily opened her eyes again, she could feel the warmth radiating from the flower enveloping her, like an embrace from her mother herself. This was a moment of triumph, not just for herself, but for everyone who believed in love. A testament to resilience and hope dancing together amid shadows once cast long ago. As they completed their ritual, anticipation hummed through the air. A vibrant tapestry woven from courage, friendship, and love. As they prepared to change fate and bring forth light into their lives once more. With the moonlit blossom glowing in her hand, Lily felt a surge of hope as she stood before the Vampire King once more. The grand hall seemed to pulse with energy, a mixture of anticipation and magic enveloping them as they prepared to perform the spell that would awaken her mother. The Vampire King could sense the gravity of the moment. This was not just about the flower, but the bond that had formed between them. A bridge built on trust and understanding across the divide of their worlds. Place the blossom in the center, he instructed gently, gesturing toward a stone pedestal adorned with ancient carvings. Lily hurried forward and carefully set the flower down, its petals shimmering under the flickering candlelight. The air around them began to thrum with potential, as if the very walls of the castle were alive and aware of the importance of what was about to happen. Now, focus on your love for your mother, the king encouraged, his tone soft yet firm. Channel that feeling into the flower. Speak your wishes aloud. Lily closed her eyes, recalling every precious memory of her mother. The way she sang softly at night, the laughter they shared during sunny afternoons, and even her comforting hugs that made everything seem all right. "Mom," she whispered, "I want you to wake up. I miss you so much." Tears streamed down her cheeks, mingling with her voice as she continued, "Please, come back to me." As her words filled the room, a warm light poured forth from the moonlit blossom. It grew brighter with each beat of her heart, illuminating the shadows that clung to the corners of the hall. The Vampire King raised his hands, summoning ancient energy that danced around them like fireflies, weaving through the air and converging toward the flower. "Together, we will breathe life back into your mother," he declared, his eyes gleaming with determination. "Let our combined strengths unite, your love and my power, to create a healing light." With his incantation echoing like thunder in the silence, a magnificent wave of energy erupted from the flower, cascading through the room and bathing everything in brilliance. The warmth enveloped Lily like a blanket, filling her with a sense of comfort and security. She could almost feel her mother's presence drawing closer, beckoning her heart to remain steadfast. Suddenly, with a brilliant flash that startled them both, a figure began to materialize in front of them, a gentle shimmer coalescing into the form of Lily's mother. She appeared ethereal, yet familiar, illuminated by the same golden light radiating from the moonlit blossom. Lily's breath hitched as hope intertwined with disbelief. Could it truly be? "Lily!" Her mother's voice floated through the air like a soft melody filled with love and warmth. "Mom," Lily cried out and rushed forward without hesitation. The moment their arms wrapped around each other felt like reuniting after a long journey. Nothing could match this connection forged through love and resilience. The Vampire King stepped back, allowing this emotional reunion its space, while observing how two worlds, the human and the vampire, could touch each other through compassion and understanding. It was moments like this that reminded him of what he had lost in his own life and reignited a spark of hope within him, a chance to connect beyond fear that once kept him isolated. As Lily held her mother tightly, she felt tears streaming down her face again, but this time born from happiness. "I thought I lost you," she exclaimed joyfully. "You are so brave, my sweet Lily," her mother whispered, brushing a hand against her daughter's cheek. "Your love reached beyond shadows and darkness." Turning back to the Vampire King, who stood quietly observing them, Lily realized just how essential his role had been in this miraculous moment. "Thank you," she said sincerely. "You helped me save my mom." The king nodded respectfully. His heart swelled as he watched this simple act of kindness transform lives, both Lily's and his own, by breaking barriers built from fear and misunderstanding. "In your bravery lies a lesson," he replied softly. "Love is a powerful force and can shatter even the strongest walls." Together, they had created something beautiful, a friendship forged in struggle, nurtured by kindness, one that would linger on as a testament to how both humans and vampires could work together in harmony. As laughter filled the hall again, the sound reverberating against stone walls adorned with memories long preserved. Lily understood that this victory was not solely hers, but belonged to all who dared to believe in love's ability to heal and illuminate paths once deemed lost forever. In that moment, framed by ethereal light, she knew they were ready to embrace new beginnings together. Hearts intertwined as they ventured forth into a world brimming with possibility. As the warm glow of the moonlit blossom faded and the joyful reunion between Lily and her mother settled into a comforting embrace, a sense of peace enveloped the grand hall. The air was thick with emotion, resonating with the love that had triumphed over darkness. Lily felt as if she had emerged from a long, treacherous journey, not just with the flower, but with newfound confidence and a deeper understanding of the power of love. "I can't believe you're really here," Lily said softly, looking up at her mother with tears of joy glistening in her eyes. "I've missed you so much." Her mother smiled warmly, brushing Lily's hair back from her forehead. "And I've missed you too, my brave girl. It's your strength that brought me back." The Vampire King watched this tender moment unfold before him, feeling a swell of admiration for Lily's bravery and determination. He stepped forward, his presence still commanding yet softened by gratitude. "You have shown great courage and resilience today, both in your quest to find the moonlit blossom and in how you faced your fears," he remarked, his voice steady yet filled with warmth. "This bond you share with your mother is powerful. It has proved that even in darkness, light can be found." Lily looked up at him, appreciating his words and recognizing the role he had played in their journey. "Thank you for believing in me," she replied sincerely. "You helped me find my way when I felt lost." The Vampire King inclined his head slightly, acknowledging her gratitude while feeling a flicker of something deep within himself, a connection that bridged the gap between their two worlds. The barriers of fear and misunderstanding he had long held began to dissolve in the light of love displayed before him. "Magic can be a bridge between realms," he mused quietly, contemplating how this experience could change perceptions between humans and vampires alike. Perhaps it's time we all learn to trust one another. With those words hanging in the air, Lily's heart swelled with hope for what lay ahead. Not just for herself, but for all who lived within this kingdom where darkness no longer needed to rule. After exchanging heartfelt farewells with her mother, who promised to cherish each moment they would now share, Lily turned to face the Vampire King once more. "I'm ready to go home," she said firmly, buoyed by the knowledge that she carried both her mother's love and newfound courage within her. "Then let us walk together," he answered graciously. As they moved toward the castle doors side by side, Lily's heart raced with excitement about returning home, a home that now felt brighter than before. As they stepped out into the night air together, the moon shining brightly overhead, the forest seemed alive with magic once more. Every rustle of leaves swirled around them like whispers celebrating their victory over despair. Pip had been watching closely from where he stood nearby. He scampered up beside them as they exited into open space again. "Are we going back?" he asked eagerly, his eyes shining bright with hope too. "Yes!" Lily exclaimed joyfully as she glanced down at her tiny friend, who had played such an important part in helping her along this journey. "I couldn't have done it without you." Pip puffed out his chest proudly, but then looked up at the Vampire King curiously. "What about you? Will you come visit us sometimes?" The king smiled softly at Pip's innocence and sincerity. His heart warmed by this unexpected friendship formed through kindness shared amidst challenges faced together. "I will watch over both of you from afar," he assured them gently. "And if ever you need me again, simply call upon my name." As they began their trek back through the woods, Lily felt confident knowing not only did she possess love strong enough to overcome darkness, but also an ally who understood strength derived from unity shared amongst friends. The path ahead felt lighter now, freer, as laughter rang out among trees, swaying slightly under moonlight, cradling promises fulfilled shimmering brightly like stars above, guiding them homeward, where new memories lingered, waiting to unfold. Together, mother, daughter, and newfound friends walked forward into a world brimming with possibility, a realm where courage conquered fear, while bonds forged through struggle illuminated paths ahead. Illuminating hearts once heavy, now lifted toward brighter tomorrows, reclaimed together forevermore.